Well, if this movie teaches us anything, it's that no matter who you are or what you are, love hurts. What's up, guys? Welcome to my review of Companion, the latest movie from the creators of Barbarian. More on that later. This movie hasn't been on my radar for too long because I really didn't even know it was gonna happen up until I saw the first teaser drop. But once I saw that teaser, I was immediately sold and hooked. I didn't need to see anything else. I kind of went on a media blackout, tuned out anything I could, didn't watch the trailer, all that stuff because I don't want anything spoiled for me because that happens so often. I hate it. But yeah, so going into it, I was really excited to see it. Coming out of seeing it, I'm thoroughly happy to report that it met all the expectations I had for it. I absolutely love this movie. It was everything I hoped it would be, and more than what I thought it would be. Now, the reason I put air quotes around from the creators of Barbarian is because that's really more of a marketing ploy than it has anything to do with the movie. It's the same kind of few producers, but this is a different writer and director altogether. I believe this is the directorial debut, at least for a feature-length film directorial debut of Drew Hancock, who wrote and directed this one. And so, because of that, there's not really a need to compare this to Barbarian. I know people are going to because it's plastered all over the marketing for this movie. If you see the name of this movie, you'll see right above it from the unhinged minds of the people that brought us Barbarian or whatever. But there's really no need to compare them. Whether you liked Barbarian or didn't like Barbarian, I really enjoyed it, but that shouldn't really set your level of expectation for this movie going in. It's completely unrelated. They have nothing to do with one another. Like I said, it's more just for marketing purposes than the movie itself. January is usually such a dumping ground for movies, especially in the horror genre. I mean, we have had some real garbage in the genre come out in the month of January that it's nice that right at the buzzer, at the very end, on the last couple days, we get a movie that delivers on the level that Companion delivers. So moving on with the review and starting with the positives, I think the first thing I want to talk about when it comes to Companion is just how funny this movie is. This movie is genuinely hilarious. I mean, it's laugh out loud funny. Each character gets either a line of dialogue or a moment at some point in the film that legit got a laugh out of me in the theater. And it's not the kind of comedy that feels distracting or misplaced or like it cuts all the tension. Nah, it's like the perfect dose of comedy sprinkled in with the horror and the thriller and suspense and all that stuff. And being that this is a horror comedy, that comes with a spotty track record. There's a long list of really bad horror comedies out there, and hell, even comedies in general these days are real hit and miss because I mean it's a touchy subject of what you can and can't joke about. But getting a movie like this that perfectly blends all those genres together and actually is a laugh out loud experience was really nice, and it's a big part of how much enjoyment I got out of this movie. But to deliver that comedy, you got to have a good cast, and this one definitely does. I mean, the two leads are just powerhouses in this movie. Jack Quaid, he's an up and comer. A lot of people know him from The Boys. He was in Scream 5 not too long ago, and I really enjoyed him in that. And he delivers another really good performance in this movie. Sophie Thatcher has immediately skyrocketed to the top of my list of actresses that I'm paying attention to moving forward. And I never thought I would say that after being introduced to her in The Boogeyman a couple years ago because I absolutely hated that movie. I thought it was dreadful, but a few months ago, she gave us Heretic and now this, and those are just two banger performances back to back. So moving forward, whatever she's in, whether it's in this genre or not, I will definitely be paying attention. And I think she is a young and up and coming talent that definitely needs to be recognized and paid attention to. But it's not just the two leads kind of carrying this movie. This is a really well-rounded cast. They all bring their own thing and their own flavors and flares to it. Especially the character of Eli, played by Harvey Guillen. I've never seen him in anything. This is kind of my introduction to him, but he's a real scene stealer. I mean, some of the movie's funniest moments and lines delivered come from him. So just having that nice, well-rounded cast in this movie really helps. And yeah, they all kind of bring their own thing and they carry their weight. But I think what really makes this movie special is just how well written of a movie it is. I mean, I know I've talked a lot about the comedy side of things on this movie, but it still is a horror movie. It's just as much a horror movie as it is a comedy movie, but there's a lot more stuff in here too. I mean, it's also a love story. It's got commentary on like gender roles and AI and stuff like that. And it makes fun of them really well. But it's also kind of horrifying in some of the ways it represents those things as well. So there's a lot of originality and creativity packed into it on the surface may be this basic, simple survival in the cabin in the woods premise that I feel it needs to be commended. Just shows how good of a script it really is. Two other little things I wanted to touch on while I was in the positive section here. They're not really big deals, but they're just something I want to talk about. Is there's some cool special effects in here, both CGI and practical, that I can't give too much away because, like I said, I'd rather you go into this movie as blind as you possibly can. But the way they do depict certain things and show little things, it's really cool. And also, the second thing is for the horror heads out there, if you're coming to look for some blood, it's got some carnage candy in it. It's not the most violent movie in the world, but when it has its moments, it takes full advantage of those moments, and that bloodthirst you may have will definitely be quenched watching this movie. So moving on to the mix, and I'm kind of gonna combine the mixed and negative together here because it's kind of the same thing. It's just varying degrees on how it may affect you. But this isn't really gonna be a discussion on the movie itself. This is gonna be more of a discussion on movie marketing in general because this is only my second YouTube video, but I've been bitching about movie marketing for years now. This is just my first time doing it on this public platform. But it's become a real issue, especially in the horror genre, where the trailers and posters of movies just show way too much and give way too much away. And unfortunately, Companion seems to be one of those movies. But I don't know if it's as big of a deal with this movie as it has been in the past with others, and I'll explain. So, I wanted to keep this review as spoiler free as possible, but this is going to be a little bit of a spoiler. Now, if you don't want to hear it, turn the review off, go watch the movie, come back. But the big kind of twist in this movie is that Iris, Sophie Thatcher's character, turns out to be an AI sex doll robot. And, you know, I had found that out because even though I was trying to not see any trailers, when I went to see Wolfman a couple weeks ago, they played the trailer to this movie. I blocked my eyes, but I'm in a theater. It's really loud. I could hear them talking about robots. So they kind of gave that away. And at first, I was really bummed out. I thought, man, that's going to ruin my experience with this movie. I can't believe it. I cannot avoid spoilers. They always find me. But going into the movie, I was bummed. Like I thought like, oh, the reveal's been ruined for me. It's not gonna land. But they do this reveal so early in the movie that it makes me realize that it's not really this big reveal. It's not supposed to be. And so once you get into the movie, it really is just the kickoff point. It's kind of just the moment that sets everything else into motion. It didn't ruin the experience for me at all like I thought it would. And so if you want to go in completely blind, then ignore everything. Don't look at a trailer, don't look at a poster, don't watch this review. Like just go see the movie. Trust me, it's worth it. Go see it. But if you do happen to catch wind that it's a movie about a robot, don't worry, that's not going to ruin your experience. At least I don't think so. I'll never know if I would have had a better experience not knowing if she was a robot, but going off of what I did experience, knowing she was a robot going in, it did not affect my viewing experience whatsoever. I still love the movie through and through. And yeah, so if you do catch wind of that and oh man, the movie's ruined, don't worry. It shouldn't have an effect on your viewing experience because it didn't for me. So yeah, guys, those are my thoughts on Companion. I really don't have any negatives to say about the movie itself. I just thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm thinking a 9.5 out of 10 on the rating here. This is a perfect date night movie, with Valentine's Day coming up. So if you have a significant other, I definitely recommend you go take them to see it. If you don't, you could still go see it and just cry while you eat your chocolates all alone, because it's definitely a movie that deserves your time and attention and deserves your money to go see it in theaters. I really, really love this movie. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments when you do see it. Make sure to like and subscribe while you're here. I'll see you in the next review. Peace.